Good morning. Today's class we shall discuss one more method to find the inverse Laplace transform. So in last class we have studied how to find the Laplace transform by using partial fraction method and how to find the inverse Laplace transform of logarithm and inverse function. So we have one more method here. So we shall discuss that method in today's class. That we have one theorem, it's called convolution theorem. Using this particular theorem we can find the inverse Laplace transform. The statement of this convolution is the convolution of two functions f of t and g of t is denoted by f of t into t and is defined as f of t into g of t equal to integration of f of u into g of t minus u du. The u is variable here and t is constant and integration is from 0 to t. Or same integral can also be written as f of t minus u into g of u du, where integration is from 0 to t. So this is statement of convolution. Similarly, the convolution theorem is given by like this: if L inverse of f bar of s equal to f of t and L inverse of g bar of s equal to g of t, then L inverse of f bar of s into g bar of s equal to integration of f of u into g of t minus u du from 0 to t, where this limit is for or integral lower limit and upper limit is for the variable q. Or the same formula can also be written as integration of f of t minus u into g of u du from 0 to t. So this particular theorem can be used to find the inverse Laplace transform of a product of two functions f bar of s and g bar of s. So a procedure is, first we have to express the given function as a product of two functions, say f bar of s and g bar of s. After that, find inverse. L inverse of f bar of s is f of t and L inverse of g bar of s is g of t. Then after obtaining f of t and g of t, use this equation star to obtain the final result. Because here f of u is there, f of u can be obtained by replacing t by u, and g of t minus u can be obtained by replacing t by t minus u in g of t. Okay. So we shall see some examples here. The first one is, using the convolution theorem, find L inverse of 1 by s into s square plus a square. So here you can see there is a product of two different terms, 1 by s and 1 by s square plus a square. Express this term as a product of two functions, say f bar of s and g bar of s. So here let us take f bar of s equal to 1 by s and g bar of s equal to 1 by s square plus a square. You can observe here, if you multiply these two terms, f bar into g bar, you will obtain the original function. Then obtain inverse of this. L inverse of f bar of s equal to f of t, that will be L inverse of 1 by s equal to 1, and L inverse of g bar of s equal to g of t, that will be L inverse of 1 by s square plus a square, that will be sin et by e. Now you know the value of f of t and g of t. Now use the convolution theorem. The convolution theorem is L inverse of f bar of s into g bar of s equal to integration of f of u into g of t minus u du. Integration is from 0 to t. Therefore, L inverse of, see here, f bar into g bar is 1 by s into s square plus a square. That is nothing but the given question. Equal to right hand side. In place of f of u, what we have to write? Actually, to obtain f of u, we have to replace t by u. But in this particular example, this f of t is constant only. So if you take f of u also, that value will be 1 into g of t minus u. So g of t is sin at by a. How will you obtain g of t minus u? Replace t by t minus u in g of t, which gives sin a into t minus u divided by a. After that, normal integration procedure, we can take 1 by a outside. Integration of sin at minus au will be minus cos at minus au divided by minus a. Why it is minus a? Because we are integrating with respect to u. Therefore, we have to divide this term by coefficient of u. Coefficient of u is minus a here. Then take upper limit for u and lower limit for u. So if you take u equal to t, we get cos of at minus at, minus when u equal to 0 we get cos at. So first term is cos 0, that will be 1 minus cos at. Therefore required answer will be 1 by a square into 1 minus cos at. So this is very simple method, but main thing is you should learn how to take f bar and g bar. Select f bar of s and g bar of s in such a way that it should be easy to obtain inverse with the help of our basic formula. Similarly, one more example is apply convolution theorem to evaluate L inverse of s by s square plus a square whole square. So again here you can see denominator you have a square, but the whole square is there. So we can take f bar of s equal to 1 by s square plus a square and g bar of s equal to s by s square plus a square, or f bar of s equal to s by s square plus a square and g bar of s equal to 1 divided by s square plus a square. Now if you find the inverse, L inverse of g bar of s equal to how much? That is f of t. L inverse of 1 by s square plus a square will be 1 by a into sine at. Similarly, L inverse of g bar of s, that is g of t, will be cos at. Now after obtaining f of t and g of t, we shall use the convolution theorem. So convolution theorem is L inverse of f bar of s into g bar of s equal to integration f of u into g of t minus u du from 0 to t equal to integration of f of u is 1 by a sine au into cos of a into t minus u du from 0 to t. So you can take 1 by a outside. So this is in which form? Sine au into cos of at minus au. Sine a cos b. Sine a cos b is 1 by 2 sine a plus b plus sine a minus b. This should be plus here. Okay. Therefore here 1 by 2 sine a plus b au plus at minus au plus sine au minus of at minus au. So if you simplify this, here first term sine at is remaining, in second term sine au plus au, that is 2 times au minus at with respect to u. Now we can integrate these two terms. Sine at is independent of u. This term acts as constant. So constant into 1. So integration of 1 with respect to u will be u. The range is from 0 to t. Minus integration of sine 2au minus at will be minus cos 2au minus at divided by coefficient of u is how much? 2a. So limit is from 0 to t. Now we shall substitute upper limit and lower limit here. As it is, if you take u equal to t, we will get t, minus if u equal to 0, that will be 0. In second case, minus 1 by 2a as it is. If you take u equal to t, cos 2at minus at will be cos at, minus when u equal to 0, cos of minus at. But we know that cos of minus theta is cos theta, therefore we get cos of at. Now this cos of at minus cos of at will be 0. So remaining term is t sine at divided by 2a. That is L inverse of s by s square plus a square whole square. So which is the required answer. Similarly, third question is by convolution theorem to find L inverse of s square divided by s square plus a square into s square plus b square. So you can see here denominator there are two terms. So one we can assign to f bar of s and one we can assign to g bar of s. But what about numerator s square? You cannot take this s square, whole s square to one term, because if you take s square to f bar of s, then it will be difficult to obtain inverse Laplace transform. So what we can do, we can assign one s to f bar of s and another s to g bar of s. Then both this f bar of s as well as g bar of s are in the standard form. S by s square plus a square is cos at, that is inverse, and L inverse of s by s square plus b square is cos at. So then f of t is cos at and g of t is cos of dt. Now we shall use the convolution theorem. L inverse of f bar of s into g bar of s equal to integration of f of u into g of t minus u between 0 and t. Now f of t is cos at, therefore f of u will be cos of au into g of t is cos bt, therefore g of t minus u will be cos of b into t minus c, that is cos of bt minus bc du. Now if you see this is in the form of cos a into cos b. So we know that cos a into cos b is 1 by 2 cos of a plus b plus cos of a minus b. If you apply this particular formula over here, we get 1 by 2 cos of au plus bt minus bu plus cos of au minus bt plus bu. Then we can integrate it because plus sign is there, single terms are there, single term cos, here also cos. Now integration of cos is how much? Sin au plus bt minus bu divided by coefficient of u. What are the coefficient of u here? One is a, that we have written here. Second one is minus b, that we have written minus b. Similarly, second term is integration of cos is sin au minus bt plus bu divided by a plus b. Why here a plus b? Because a coefficient of u is a, here it is b, a plus b. So limit is from 0 to t. So in first case, in first term, here we can take 1 by a minus b outside into when u equal to t, upper limit sin at plus bt minus bt minus when u equal to 0 you get sin bt. Okay. Plus in the second term here we can take 1 by a plus b outside, when u equal to t we get sin at minus bt plus bt minus sin of minus bt. Now say bt minus bt will be 0, remaining term is sin at minus sin bt plus in the second case 1 by a plus b outside, sin at, here sin minus beta is there. You know that sin minus beta is minus sin theta because sin is an odd function, so minus into minus plus sin bt. Now here sin 80 sin 80, so we can take sin 80 common. If you take sin 80 common, now remaining terms are 1 by a minus b plus 1 by a plus b plus sin bt as it is into 1 by a plus b minus, so because of here this minus sign is there, minus of 1 by a minus b. So we shall try to simplify this bracket. If you simplify this by taking LCM and all, you will get 2a by a square minus b square, because the product of these two will be a square minus b square. Here it will become a plus b plus a minus b, so plus b minus b will be 0, a plus a will be 2a, sin 80 into 2a divided by a square minus square plus here also same thing. If you take LCM and if you simplify, you will get minus 2b divided by a square minus b square. So after simplification we can cancel 2 here with this 1 by 2 and remaining term is this one, 1 by a square minus b square outside, a into sin 80 minus b into sin bt, where a is not equal to b. If a is equal to b, what happens? Everything will become 0. Here also it is 0 and here also it will become 0. Just no meaning. So a is not equal to b here. Similarly, we shall solve any type of example by applying this convolution theorem. So we shall see one more example here. Using convolution theorem, find L inverse of 1 by s square plus 1 into s square plus 9. Again you can see here there is a product of two different terms, s square plus 1, s square plus 9. So try to express this term as a product of two functions. So let us take f bar of s equal to 1 by s square plus 1 and g bar of s equal to 1 by s square plus 9. Then taking inverse, L inverse of f bar of s equal to f of t, that will be L inverse of 1 by s square plus 1. So L inverse of 1 by s square plus 1 is sin t. Similarly, L inverse of g bar of s, that is g of t, will be L inverse of 1 by s square plus 9, that will be sin pt by 3. So now we know the value of f of t and g of t. Now we can use the convolution theorem. Therefore by convolution theorem, L inverse of f bar of s into g bar of s will be integration of f of u into g of t minus u du. Integration is from 0 to t. So you can observe here f of u is there, but f of t is sin t. So replace t by u, we get sin u, and g of t is sin pt by 3, therefore g of t minus u will be sin 3t minus 3u divided by t. You should replace t by t minus u in g of t. Then 1 by 3 is outside. Again, this is in the form of sine A, sine B. What is the formula for sine A, sine B? Sine A, sine B is 1 by 2 cos of A minus B minus A plus B. Correct? Cos of A minus B minus cos of A plus B. If you apply this here, we get 1 by 2 cos of u minus 3t minus 3u minus cos of u plus 3t minus 3u. So that will be 1 by 6 integration from 0 to t cos of 4u minus 3t minus cos of 3t minus 2u into t. Now there is a single term in the first term and second term. We can integrate separately. So integration of cos of 4u minus 3t is sine 4u minus 3t divided by 4. Why we have to write here 4? Because coefficient of u is 4 here. Similarly, second term is integration of cos of 3t minus 2u will be sine 3t minus 2u divided by minus 2 because coefficient of u is minus 2. Remember, here variable t acts as constant in convolution theorem. Variable is u here. Okay? So u is running from 0 to t. So in first case, first term, if you take upper limit and lower limit, we get like this: 1 by 4 outside sine 40 minus 3t minus when u equal to 0, we will get sine of minus 3t. So here minus into minus plus 1 by 2. When t equal to u equal to t, you get sine 3t minus 2t minus when u equal to 0, you get sine 3t. Now the simplification is remaining 1 by 6, 1 by 4 into sine t plus sine 3t minus of sine minus theta is sine theta. Similarly, it is sine 3t plus 1 by 2 into sine 3t minus 2t will be sine t minus sine 3t. Now again we can take sine t common here, sine t outside, remaining term is 1 by 4 plus 1 by 2 plus sine 3t if you take outside, remaining constant is 1 by 4 minus 1 by 2. So after simplification, see 1 by 4 plus 1 by 2 is nothing but 3 by 4 and 1 by 4 minus 1 by 2 is minus 1 by 4. So you can take 1 by 4 outside, 1 by 6 into 1 by 4 will be 24. Here 3 is remaining, here minus 1 is remaining. So 1 by 24 into 3 sine t minus sine 3t, which is the required answer for the given problem by using convolution theorem. So similarly, we shall see some more examples. Using the convolution theorem, find L inverse of s plus 2 divided by s square plus 4s plus 5 whole square. Now you can observe here, there is a function in denominator whole square is there, no problem. One term you can assign to f bar of s and another term to g bar of s. But what about numerator here? So numerator you should take this complete term to either f bar of s or g bar of s. So you cannot take s to f bar and 2 to g bar. If you do so, what happens? If you multiply f bar and g bar, you won't get original equation. Then you will get 2s divided by s square plus 4s plus 5 whole square. So if you have more than one term, if there is a product in the numerator, then you can separate, no problem. But if you have addition or subtraction like this, then you have to take that complete term to one side. So here f bar of s, I will take s plus 2 divided by s square plus 4s plus 5, and g bar of s can be taken as 1 by s square plus 4s plus 5. Now we shall find the inverse. L inverse of f bar of s, that is f of t, will be L inverse of s plus 2 divided by s square plus 4s plus 5. You can observe here which method we have to follow to find the inverse of this. Denominator is in the form of quadratic equation. We know that if quadratic equation is present in the denominator, then we have to express this in the form of perfect square, s minus a whole square plus or minus b square. So this s square plus 4s plus 5 can be written as s plus 2 whole square plus 1. Now numerator also we have to express in the form of denominator. So in place of s, we have s plus 2 already, no need to modify again. So now we have reduced the function of s to function of s plus 2. Now which property we need to use? Remember the last class example. So to reduce s plus 2 to s, we have to use shifting property inversely. Shifting property means a is minus 2 here, e power minus 2t into L inverse of s by s square plus 1. So e raised to minus 2t, L inverse of s by s square plus 1 is cos 2t. Okay. Similarly here in second case, same thing, s square plus 4s plus 5 can be written as s plus 2 whole square plus 1. Then multiplying this by e raised to minus 2t, we can reduce s plus 2 to s. That will be e raised to minus 2t L inverse of 1 by s square plus 1. So which gives e raised to minus 2t into sin t. Then if g of t is this much, then g of t minus u will be e raised to minus 2 times t minus u into sin t minus u. Now you know the value of f of t and g of t minus u. Substitute these two values in the convolution theorem. But instead of f of t, we have to substitute f of u here. How will you substitute? Replace t by u. So f of u will be e raised to minus 2u into cos u into g of t minus u will be e raised to minus 2 times t minus u into sin t minus u du. So we can expand this exponential term e raised to minus 2u, e raised to minus 2t into e raised to minus 2u into sin t minus u into cos u. See, e raised to minus 2u, e raised to plus 2u will be e raised to 0, and this e raised to minus 2t is independent of u. So you can take e raised to minus 2t outside. So remaining term is sin t minus u into cos u du. In which formula we have to use here? Sin A cos B. So sin A cos B will be 1 by 2 sin A plus B plus sin A minus B, like last example. Then you get 1 by 2 sin T minus U plus U plus sin T minus U minus U. So here first one is sin T plus sin T minus 2U du. There is single term sin t and it is independent of u, act as constant. Integration of sin t into 1 is u between 0 and t, and integration of sin t minus 2u will be minus cos of t minus 2u divided by minus 2 between 0 and t. Now substitute the limits. Sin t as it is, u equal to t minus 0, minus into minus plus, cos of t minus 2t is cos minus t, but cos of minus t will be cos t, minus when u equal to 0 we get cos t. So the second term is 0, so remaining t sin t into e raised to minus 2t divided by 2, which is the L inverse of the given function. Correct? Now next one is evaluate L inverse of 4s plus 5u divided by s minus 1 whole square into s plus 2 using convolution theorem. Again, denominator there are two terms. You can assign one term to f bar and one term to g bar. So we can take s plus 2 for f bar of s and s minus 1 whole square for g bar f. But what about numerator? As I told you in last example, you have to take this, both the terms to either f bar or g bar. You cannot separate it. So we shall take 4s plus 5 to g bar of s. Even you can take this 4s plus 5 to f bar of s also, no problem. But always select f bar of s, a simple one. It should be then f of t like that you select. Then remaining term you can assign to g bar of s. So here f bar of s equal to 1 by s plus 2. Therefore f of t will be L inverse of 1 by s plus 2, and f of t will be e raised to minus 2t. Similarly, g bar of s is 4s plus 5 divided by s minus 1. In which property you will use? See, the denominator is in the perfect square. Completing the square method we have used. Denominator already in the perfect square. Now numerator it should be in the form of denominator. So which constant we have to add and subtract in the numerator? Just recall that particular method. So here coefficient is 4, here it is minus 1. So 4 into 1 is 4, add and subtract 4 in the numerator. Then if you take 4 common, we get 4 into s minus 1, and 4 plus 5 is 9. Then see s minus 1 numerator, s minus 1 denominator. So how will you reduce s minus 1 to s? By multiplying this by e raised to t. So e raised to t into L inverse of 4s plus 9 divided by s square. There are two different terms in the numerator. You can separate it. 4 into L inverse of 1 by s plus L inverse of 1 by s square. So L inverse of 1 by s square is 1. So 4 plus L inverse of 1 by s square is t. So you get e raised to t 4 plus 9 into t. Now if you use the convolution theorem, f of u is e raised to minus 2u and g of t minus u is e raised to t minus u into 4 plus 9 times t minus u du. Or e raised to t you can take outside, and e raised to minus 2u into e raised to minus 2u will be e raised to minus 3u into 4 plus 9t minus 9u du. Or we can write 4 plus 90 minus 9 e raised to minus 3u du. So to integrate this particular product, we can apply Bernoulli's rule of integration by parts. You know that by solving examples on periodic functions, you have solved. Right? See, first function you can take as u, and this e raised to minus 3u you can take as v. Then you can apply integration by parts. So first function as it is, integration of second function is e raised to minus 3u by minus 3 minus derivative of first function with respect to u. Derivative of 4 plus 90 is 0. Derivative of minus 9u is minus 9 because u is variable here, into integration of e raised to minus 3u by minus 3 is e raised to minus 3u by 9, where limit is from 0 to t. Now if you substitute all these limits, we get minus 1 by 3, 4 plus 90 minus 90 into e raised to minus 3t for upper limit. When u equal to 0, we get 4 plus 90 into e raised to 0 is 1, correct? Plus the second case, minus into minus plus 9 by 9 is 1. When u equal to t, we get e raised to minus 3t. When u equal to 0, we get e raised to 0 as 1. After simplification, we get final answer as 1 by 3 into e raised to t minus 1 by 3 into e raised to minus 2t plus 3t into e raised to t. So which is the required answer. So one advantage of this method, we can solve any type of example, but you should understand how to select this f bar and g bar. So here, as I told you, you can take this 4s plus 5 this side also, but it will be bit difficult to find L inverse. It will take some more steps to find L inverse, but that is also correct. Similarly, you can take f bar of s as 4s plus 5 divided by s minus 1 whole square, and g bar of s as 1 by s plus 2. You can interchange f bar and g bar. Not like you have to take 1 by s plus 2 equal to f bar only, and 4s plus 5 divided by s minus 1 whole square equal to g bar of s. Not like that. But best suggestion is select f bar, simple one. Simple one means it should be easy to find inverse. So here if you take f bar of s equal to 1 by s plus 2, what is the inverse of this? One step, e raised to minus 2t. In some cases, we won't get easy term, but almost all cases, 90% of the cases, you can take simple term for this f bar of s. Then remaining term you can take for g bar of s, and then we can find L inverse, which gives g of t, and finally we can find the convolution theorem, and with the help of convolution theorem and this integration process, we can find f of t. One thing you remember, while applying this convolution theorem, you are not integrating with respect to t. T acts as constant here. You are going to integrate with respect to u. U is variable, and integration limit is not from 0 to infinity, because the main definition of Laplace transform is from integration 0 to infinity. Don't think like that. This is also from 0 to infinity. So here variable is with respect to u and limit is from 0 to t. Correct? So remember this. And while obtaining f of u, replace t by u in f of t, and while obtaining f of g of t minus u, replace t by t minus u in g of t, and solve the examples. So this is about inverse Laplace transform by using convolution theorem. Actually, this convolution theorem is also used to solve ordinary differential equations. That is the last part of this module, application part. So while solving those examples, we shall discuss how to use these concepts in application part.